Hello, it's so good to have you back here on the channel, and if this is your first time here on BLO'S Closet, you're welcome to the channel. So I saw this lovely skirt on Instagram and on Pinterest, and I just knew I had to recreate it for myself. It is a maxi skirt, 8 lines, 6 pieces with 2 slits in front. So if you're interested in learning how I recreated this, keep on watching and let us get straight into this tutorial. For this project, you'll be needing your waist measurement, your hip line, and the length of your skirt. So I already have these lines ruled out right here. This is my waistline and this is my hip line, and I left about half an inch on top of this my waistline, which will be seam allowance to join my waistband. Now I'm going to be placing my tape. I'm going to be placing 1.5 inches away on that my waistline, and I'll mark the distance from my waist to my hip, which is 10 inches. That 1.5 inches that I put away there is for my waistband. For the length of my skirt, I am going to go with 47 inches, and the remaining 1 inch there will be for hemming allowance. So the next thing I'm going to do now is impute my horizontal measurement. So I'm going to be marking my waist measurement divided by 4, which is 7 inches for me, and then I'm going to be marking my hip measurement divided by 4, which is 10 inches for me. This next step is totally optional. I am going to be coming down by 1.5 inches from my hip line. I want my A line to start from there, or you can decide to start your own A line from the hip line. This is totally optional. So basically, I am going to repeat the same measurement that I have on my hip on that 1.5 inches mark. I hope this is clear. So now I am going to be connecting these points with the help of my curved ruler, and now I am going to come to the hem of my skirt, and I'm going to be imputing my hips measurement divided by 4, which is 10 inches, and then I am going to be adding 5 inches for my A-line effect. So you can add as much as you want for your A-line. You can make it 6 inches, 7 inches, you could even make it 4 inches. It depends on what you're going for. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to be connecting these points, okay, to that my A line down there. I hope this is clear. After connecting, you should have something that looks like this or similar to this. And the next thing I'm going to do is impute my dart and create my 6 pieces, because this is a 6 pieces skirt. So I'm going to come to the waistline, and I'm going to be marking my bust span measurement divided by 2. Mine is 7 inches divided by 2 is 3.5, but I'll be adding half an inch to this to make it 4 inches, because I am drafting on my fabric straight. If I was creating a pattern first, then I'll go ahead and mark my 3.5 inches because I'll be adding allowances later. Okay, so I just went ahead to mark this all the way down, and I am rolling it out with my straight ruler. Alright, so I am going to come to the waistline, and I am going to be marking half an inch on both sides of this line to create my dart. And for the length of my dart, I am going to be going up by 2 inches from my hip line. So it's 2 inches above my hip line, and with the help of my straight ruler, I'm going to be connecting these points together. So now I am going to be adding my allowance. This is me replacing the 1 inch for the dart, and then I am going to be adding 2 inches for stitching this together. By the time we cut it, 1 inch for each side. I hope this is clear. If you're stitching with half an inch, then you need to replace 1 inch, but if you're stitching with 1 inch, then you need to replace 2 inches. And finally, I'll be adding about 1 inch for stitching this skirt down. So basically, you'll be needing 3 inches for seam allowance and an extra 1 inch for your dart allowance if you are adding a dart to your skirt. So on the hip line, I am going to be adding just 3 inches, which is 1 inch to stitch down this my 6 pieces area, aka dart area, and then 1 inch for seam allowance. I hope this is clear. So I'm going to be connecting these points together using the help of my curved ruler, and I'm going to extend it down towards that my 1.5 inches, and then I'll come to the hem of my skirt, and I'm going to be also marking that 3 inches, which is basically for my seam allowance, and I'll be connecting these points together with the help of my straight ruler. Alright guys, so the front part of the skirt is basically ready. All I need to do now is grab my scissors and cut this out. I'm going to be cutting out just the side for now, and after this I am going to be placing it onto my fabric for the back, and I'll trace it out, and then I'll cut out this my dart area. And I'm doing this because I want to kill two birds with one stone. So right here is my fabric for the back. It is on fold. I ruled out 1 inch for my zipper allowance, and now I am going to be bringing my front skirt part and I'll place it onto the back like this. So I'm going to be aligning the center front of this my skirt onto that 1 inch line that I marked out for my zipper, and I'm going to be using my ruler to just trace out the front skirt pattern onto the back. And now I am going to go ahead and cut out this my dart area. So as you can see, I am cutting out the dart area for both the front and the back instead of going ahead to start drawing a new bust pan line. I hope this is clear. So I am going to cut this out, and I'll end up having my center front and side front, my center back and my side back. This right here is me marking 1 inch at the side, and I'll just blend it in towards this my dart leg, and this is just to eliminate pointy corners at the sides. I don't want it to be pointed after I am done stitching it down. And so guys, this is what I have. I am just going to pull out my pins and separate the front from the back, and I'll go ahead and slice open my back into two. Remember, it was to unfold, so I'm going to slice it open so that I'll have 2 pieces. Now that we are done with the cutting part of this, we are going to go ahead and stitch this down. So this is my center front. I opened it and I placed my side front onto it on one side, and I'm going to stitch this down, but I'm going to be marking where I want my slit to start from. So I marked out 21 inches. I think at the end of the day I used 18 inches, okay, but use whatever length you want for your slit. So I will stitch it down by 1 inch and stop exactly at where I made that my mark. And this is me placing the other side piece onto my center piece, and I'm going to mark the same 21 inches, which I later adjusted to 18 inches, and repeat the same process. This is my back piece. I am going to be placing the side back onto the center backs, one of the center backs, and I'll repeat the same process, only that this one I'm going to be stitching it all the way down by 1 inches, and this is the other back piece. I placed it together and I stitched it down, and this is what it looks like after stitching it. Can you see my slit right there? So the next thing I am going to do is I'm going to be joining the front and the back pieces together at the sides. So I'm going to align it together and stitch them down by 1 inch, and after stitching them down by 1 inch, this is what I have. Next, I'll take this to my ironing board and I'll open press all my seams, and this is what it looks like when I was done open pressing my seams. Can you see my slit areas? I used a hemming gum to secure the folded edge so that it doesn't unravel to create my slits. If you want to have a seam on that, then you can run a seam, but because I wanted a seamless finish, that's why I used a hemming gum to secure it. So now the next thing I'm going to do is fixing my waistband, and this is me measuring out the waistline of my dress, and I have 30 inches in total. 28 inches is my waist measurement, and the remaining 2 inches is for zipper allowance, 1 inch on both sides. And here is my waistband that I have already prepared. This waistband is about 4 inches, so I folded it in by ½ an inch and by 1.5 inches, and the remaining ½ inch is for me to join it to the waist. Now I will place my waistband onto the wrong side of my waist, and I am going to be stitching it down by that ½ inch that is left on my waistband, and this is what it looks like after I was done stitching it. I'm going to flip this to the right side, and I am going to be pushing all my seam allowance inwards towards the waistband, and I'm going to be using the folded edge of my waistband to conceal down my seam allowance by making a top stitch to finish up my waistband. And this is what it looks like after I was done doing that. And this is me just cutting out the excesses on both ends, and I am going to fold this into two, and I am going to be marking out where I want my zipper to stop. I marked out 9 inches for my zipper opening. Make sure that your zipper opening is not less than 9 inches, especially if you have a bigger butt, so you don't have to struggle while you're putting your skirt on. Even at this 9 inches, I struggled a bit. So after stitching that down, I attached my zipper and I went ahead to hem this my skirt, and our skirt is basically ready. All you need to do is overlock all your seam lines so that your fabric does not fray. You should even overlock it before you go ahead to conceal your slits using a hemming gum. And guys, our skirt is basically ready. Can you see how beautiful it's looking? And this is a wrap, guys. Our skirt is ready, and this is what it looks like on me. I paired it with my wrap crop top. I have a detailed tutorial on how to make this crop top on my channel, and please subscribe to this channel if you're not subscribed. Like this video so that more people can get to see it. Drop your questions, thoughts, suggestions in the comment section, and turn on your post notification bell so that you'll be updated whenever I post new videos. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.